Alright, guys, so today we're gonna be talking about the 2023 AMC8 Problem 25, and I believe that one of the keys to this problem is our ability to convert words into things that are realistically usable for solving a problem. So here we have the question. 15 integer a1, a2, a3 to a15 are arranged in order on a number line. The integers are equally spaced and have the property that 1 is lesser than equal to a1 is lesser than equal to 10, 13 lesser than a2 lesser than equal to 20, and 241 is lesser than equal to a15 lesser than equal to a250. And notice how what we are asking for is what is the sum of digits of a14, and this is exactly pretty much the same thing as asking for a14 itself, except that it does not want us to guess the answer. And also something really important is that the integers are equally spaced. The fact that they are equally spaced tells us that this whole thing is just nothing but an arithmetic sequence. Now let's get to the actual problem solving. So, alright. So the first thing that we can do is to say, well, we can let a1 is equal to, well, c plus d, right? And here I can say, hey, so c is our constant that's, well, just uniquely part of a1, but d will be the factor that progressively increases through the whole thing. Because remember here, if we go back to our first whiteboard, we observe that the integers are equally spaced. And that tells us that we can actually let that space in the question be equal to d. And that's actually a really critical problem solving strategy, right? Because it means that we will be able to accurately convert things in a question. And now from that we would also know that subsequently, since every term and the next term differ by d, since we let that space be equal to d, and the space is also the difference between the terms. Right? Because if we try to visualize this, we will have a1, and then there is a distance, we let that equal to d. A2, there is another distance, we let that equal to d. A3, and so on, and a15, and then there's also this distance d between it and a14, and so on and so forth. But at the very start, a3 can actually have an initial value. So a1 can actually have an initial value, right? So we can call that initial value a c here, which is just what I did. And sometimes a lot of people tend to make the error of accidentally thinking that the first term can have is also including the common difference. I'd say that this is a pretty common error because by intuition we would want to start from 0, but we always have to check the question that the first term we are starting from 1. So in this case we actually don't have d for a1 and a2. A much better thing to do is to call this a2 and to call a15 what? Now, alright, so we've got A1 is C, A2 is C plus D. Now A15, alright, so we know that there is always one less distance, well, yes, one less distance between A1 and AN compared to the number of D's, right? So for example, A2 would have 1D, and A3 would have 2D's, right? Because 3 minus 1 is 2. So in a similar fashion, 15 minus 1 would just be 14. So that would be C plus 14D. Now here comes the very interesting part. The very interesting part is that we can say, alright, so if we take a look at what we haven't used, we can see this, and this. So that just means we can simply convert these to that C is greater than equal to 1 and lesser than equal to 10. And C plus D is lesser than equal to 20 but greater than equal to 13. And C plus 14D is lesser than equal to 250 and greater than equal to 241. Now we have to maybe involve a little bit of trial and error and number theory here. So let's see, if we have say a 14, right, 14, well, we know that 14 squared is 196, and so I'm just gonna estimate here that maybe 14 times 17 is pretty close. We can like just do a quick calculation here. 4110, and then we would just simply have 2, so have 238 here, and well, oops, that's not what we're looking for. So, but it's close. So actually, right, let me put this into red. This should be an 8, and this guy should have actually been a 252. But hey, that's also one of the very easy to make errors. We do not want things to be too large. So because 252 is obviously greater than 250, however, let me undo all of that and see where things went wrong. Actually, we need to understand that even though 238 is less than 241, less than 241, and that just implies that C must be greater or equal to 3, right? And also, what's important is that we have our upper boundary, which is that C is greater than or equal to 3 but lesser than or equal to 12, because 12 plus 238 is equal to 250, and 3 plus 238 is 241, which is exactly the two boundaries here that we are looking for. And now, once we have this set of constraints, it'll make life easier, because now C is lesser than or equal to 10 by this, so we can actually rewrite this as a 10 instead. And also, C plus D is less equal to 20 and greater equal to 13. However, we know from before that D is 17 because we use 17 for our D substitution here. So D is actually 17 from like this part. So if we plug 17 in, 17 plus C is lesser than or equal to 20, greater than or equal to 13. Now all that means is that C, so for the moment, let's say that we just, let me switch to blue. We just ignore this part for the moment and we look at the rest of this. Oh, we find that if we subtract 17 on both sides, C is lesser than equal to 3. Wow. C is greater than equal to 3. C is lesser than equal to 3. Tell me, guys, what do we have? That's right. C is equal to 3. And since we know that C is 3 and D is 17, so A14 is nothing but 3, which is C, plus 13, right? 13, because 14 minus 1, 13 times 17, which is just simply equal to 241, right? And yeah, and 241. So what we would get is actually, wait, sorry guys, sorry, everybody makes these little errors here and there. See, that's why we have to be careful. It's actually 224. I'm sorry, because I actually misread this. But anyways, so what we would actually have here is a 3 plus a 221, which is a 224, and the sum is 2 plus 2 plus 4, which is 8. That's the sum. Go back to our main page. Our sum is 8, so we know that the correct answer is A8, and we're done.